she's so fine. Hell of a ride, blows my mind. Hell of a ride, lights my day.
What's good, guys? This story came out on Monday. It's coming out of Russia. Former U.S. Marine found dead in Russia after cryptic text, "I hope I'm not being abducted." And I want to thank Marie722 for sending me this story. A former U.S. Marine has been discovered dead in Russia after catching a ride with a stranger and nervously texting her mom, quote, "I hope I'm not being abducted," end quote, according to reports. A man has been arrested after the body of Catherine Serou, a 34-year-old law student and veteran from California, was found on Saturday morning in a forest outside the city of Moscow. The 44-year-old man was arrested in connection with her disappearance about an hour before they found her body. That's a picture of Catherine Serou. Beautiful young lady. Ms. Serou went missing on Tuesday evening as she was headed back to a business to try to quickly clear up a payment issue, her mom Beccy Serou of Vicksburg, Mississippi, told NPR. The Afghanistan war vet may have gotten into a passing car for a lift rather than wait for an Uber, her mom said. Quote, "I'm in a car with a stranger. I hope I'm not being abducted," end quote, Ms. Serou wrote her mother in her very last text. Her mom told NPR she has no idea what happened to her daughter next, but, quote, "I think that when she saw that the person wasn't driving to the clinic, but instead was driving into a forest, she panicked. Her telephone last pinged off of a cell tower in that forest," she said. This is a picture on the map of where she was found, or where she went missing on June the 15th. And it won't zoom in and show demographics in this photo, but it is in a forest. A surveillance photo from the time she vanished reportedly shows Catherine Serou in a silver car looking out of an open passenger side window. More than 100 volunteers scoured local forests last week for any sign of the law student before an arrest was made, authorities said. The accused man was not identified, but he has prior convictions and is cooperating with police, they said. Again, there's another picture of Catherine Serou. Another picture. She just looks fearless in that picture. Absolutely fearless. The U.S. Embassy in Moscow said it is closely monitoring the probe into Catherine's death. The student was in Russia to begin studying law while learning the language so she could return to the U.S. and work as an immigration lawyer, reports say. She had sat for a videotaped interview posted on a Russian site last year in which she laughed about the cultural differences between the U.S. and Russia. Catherine was enrolled at Lobachevsky University, about 400 kilometers east of Moscow, studying a master's law program after having graduated with a bachelor's degree in design and master's in art history from the University of California, reports said. I'm going to go ahead and play the video that goes along with this story.
Russian authorities have charged a suspect in the killing of a native New Orleanian. CBS's Ian Lee has more on the mystery surrounding her murder.
Catherine Serou's disappearance sparked a frantic search in Russia. The last anyone heard from the 34-year-old was a text message sent to her mom. "In a car with a stranger. I hope I'm not being abducted."
I know that she was terrified in that car.
Her family believes she was kidnapped while hitching a ride. All they could do was watch and wait overseas as search teams looked for her. They found Serou's body in the woods days later, about 250 miles from the capital, and say this man, Alexander Popov, was the stranger driving the car. He went before a judge in Moscow this week, charged with murder. The ex-con's lawyer says Popov confessed to raping and stabbing Serou to death during an argument. Serou moved from California to Russia 2 years ago to study law.
It was very kind, very good, very gentle, and very smart person.
Her family described her as one of a kind.
She was just a brilliant, wonderful person.
The former Marine dreamed of returning to the U.S. to become an immigration lawyer. But now her family is headed to Russia, heartbroken, to bring her home. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Serou went to Ben Franklin High School here in New Orleans, then served in the Marines. Her family started a GoFundMe page. Money raised will help them travel to Russia and bring her body back to give her a funeral benefiting a veteran.
Just the mere fact that she joined the Marines is enough for me to respect her, period. I think I've mentioned this numerous times on this channel. My grandfather was a U.S. Marine in World War II. Gunnery sergeant, came out of Paris Island. And I have a lot of respect for the United States Marine Corps. But not only that, she came from New Orleans, graduated high school in the New Orleans area, and got a degree from the University of California, then went to Russia, also fought in the Afghanistan war. It sounds like she is just, you can tell from just that description that she is ready to conquer the world. That's just putting it mildly, I'm sure. But can you imagine as a parent to get that text from your daughter and then never hear from her again and be that far away? It's not like you can get in your car and drive across the highway and get to her. We're talking miles and miles away. That would be, number one, heartbreaking for any parent. So I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for her mother. And then, like they said, the GoFundMe, that's the expense of going over there now to bring her back. You wouldn't want to leave her over there. You would definitely want to bring her body back here to have a fitting veteran's funeral. And I just cannot imagine all of that going down. Now, I was really happy to see that they did have a search for her and that many volunteers came out to try to help to find her. That made me happy. And you could tell in some of the footage there in the video that they were vigorously searching for her. So that is, that's good to know. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video on that note. But well, let me look at the GoFundMe just real quick before I just link it in the description box. Okay, so here's a peek at the GoFundMe. And it's titled, "Goodbye to Catherine Serou, my beautiful sister." They had a $10,000 goal. They've raised $20,477. That's fantastic. It looks like her sister is truly organizing this fundraiser. Catherine Serou could do anything, brilliant and beautiful. She found joy in learning, growing, eating, traveling, building, crafting, and caring for animals. A former Marine in the Aerial Refueler Transport Squadron 252, she was a certified diesel mechanic, had gotten an associate's degree in anthropology and photography from Los Rios Community College, a bachelor's degree in design from U.S. Davis, a master's degree in art history from U.S. Davis, and she was pursuing a master's degree in law from Nizhny Novgorod State University in Russia, where her life was tragically cut short. On Tuesday, June the 15th, 2021, at 7:15 p.m. MSK, she sent the last text message we would ever receive from her. "I'm in a car with a stranger. I hope I'm not being abducted." 3 days later, her remains were found by the Russian police. "Our family is devastated, left only with memories of her wonderful spirit and our time together. We need your help to honor her memory." So they are going to bring her remains from Russia to hold a funeral for her here. That says they also need to make trips to California and D.C. to wrap up her affairs. And while they expect expenses to greatly surpass this amount of $10,000, that would definitely give them a good start. They also want to speak to anyone in Russia that Catherine Serou may have been friends with, and they're asking that they contact the sister through this GoFundMe. So if you are a friend of Catherine Serou and you are in Russia, please click the link in the description box, and it will take you to the page, and there's a link on there. And you can post your information and someone will get back a hold of you. So, I just hate the whole story, you know, someone who's really trying to do something in the world and their life is tragically cut short by an ex-convict. It just bothers me. It bothers me. There's been a lot that's bothered me today. The last story I did bothered me, and this story bothers me. So I'm going to end it on that note, but you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.